Welcome back to Network Africa. The Nigerian army has begun investigations into the alleged involvement of its officers and soldiers in partisan politics and their role in the 2015 elections. Well, this was confirmed by the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai. Well, he confirmed this when he met with officers of the 1 Division of the Nigerian Army in Kaduna State, northwest Nigeria.
Officers and men of the 1st Mechanized Division of the Nigerian Army. The formation covers the northwestern states of Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, Jigawa, Zamfara and Sokoto. They are meeting with Army Chief Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai to discuss operational procedure in the units and formations, as well as the needs of the soldiers. The need to collaborate with other security agencies in the fight against the insurgency and other related crimes across the country is also emphasized. The army boss charges the officers to maintain professionalism and show exemplary leadership to the soldiers.
Our mandate is not only limited to the fight and defeat of the Boko Haram terrorists, it also involves us in providing or facilitating humanitarian support to the internally displaced persons and indeed recovery of those citizens that are trapped within the areas that the terrorists have been operating. In addition to that mandate, we are also expected to facilitate the return of normalcy, the return of civil administration in those areas.
General Buratai also confirms the setting up of a panel to investigate the involvement of some officers and soldiers in unprofessional conduct during the 2015 elections.
Our officers and men that ventured, unfortunately, into the murky waters of politics. This will be done without any fear or favor. If you get yourself involved, I want to assure you that you will pay for it. We will not tolerate any act of indiscipline as well. We must be disciplined at all times, whether in or out of uniform.
The army and other branches of the armed forces have been kept very busy by the president's mandate to crush the insurgents by December. The visit of the army chief should go a long way towards rekindling the spirit of professionalism among the troops in counterinsurgency and other related operations.
Before we let you go on Network Africa, they appear to be finding common grounds these days. Riek Machar, leader and also President Salva Kiir, is seen there cutting a cake together. The visuals are going to come very soon on your screen, alongside Ellen Margaret, Special Representative of the UN mission in South Sudan during the 2015 United Nations Day in Juba. All citizens of the world's youngest nation braved the rain in South Sudan's capital, Juba, to hear of the work of the United Nations and, separately, the country's struggles towards achieving peace. As a symbolic of annual events in the country, both the South Sudanese and the United Nations flags were hoisted in tune to the country's national anthem.
In South Sudan, this year's UN Day falls at a critical time for the country, for the South Sudanese, and for everyone working with the United Nations. The importance of the implementation of the peace agreement cannot be underlined often enough. A peace agreement has been signed, but many details are yet to be worked out. However, the United Nations is committed to support the implementation of the peace agreement.
The Secretary General of the United Nations.
I hope in many years' time we can look back on 2015 and say that this was the last year with conflict in South Sudan. This was the year when the suffering of the people came to an end. This was the year the people and the leaders of the world's youngest nation stood united and committed to a peace, a lasting peace.
The war in South Sudan was devastating, but the peace in South Sudan will make even it more united as a country.
Well, that'll be all on Network Africa this hour, but let's take you through your feedbacks. We asked you a few questions last week. We asked you last week what your thoughts were about some African presidents who seek to extend their term in office. And Wale Adroja said on Twitter, most African rulers amend laws to suit themselves due to the theory that absolute power corrupts absolutely. Felix Umokoro said African leaders that want to amend constitution to remain in power are greedy and their myopic minds tell them they are still the best. Noswet One said selfish interest and materialism, immaturity and animosity, and of course insensitivity to human feelings before some African leaders. Those were your feedbacks from Twitter. Thank you so much for sending them in. Now, this is the question for the week, for the day that is. We're asking you, what are your thoughts on South Sudan's peace process? Is progress made? What are your thoughts on South Sudan's peace process? Is progress made? Please send your answers to networkafrica@channelstv.com and find me on Twitter at @DeshawaJosh, networkafrica@channelstv.com and at @DeshawaJosh on Twitter. That'll be all on the program today. Thank you so much for watching. I am Adeshawa Josh, and I'll see you tomorrow.